Hi everyone. Hi mom. Can you all hear me? Can you hear? We're waiting for Manju to join. Can any of you hear me? Just if you can do a thumbs up or something, great, great. So waiting for Manju to join. She is an amazing counselor. She, I think, just understands human emotions, human behavior in such a subtle and simple way. And I think her mantra for everything is keep life simple. And actually, if we do land up keeping our life simple, we are just in such a happier space. So let's wait for her to join. And I also feel it's such a prevalent topic, like mainly in today's day and age when we are talking about breaking breaking a norm which we've learned, which we know, which of course we're not here saying that you should break family and social norms, but still there are some conditioning that we've grown up with. And how do we know what conditioning we can actually move away from and just truly be ourselves versus really believing that the sky is blue? Sometimes it is pink, it is green, it's orange. We've seen such varied colors right now in the sky. So I think it's a good time for us to know that the sky can be pink. I don't know where she is. We're waiting for her. Hi Sharmila. Hi Pooja. Mom, I think you're there on the live. Do you mind just calling her up and checking if something's not working in a connection? Thank you. Because I saw her online and she's not sent a request yet. Just call her up and ask her to send a request in this live which is happening. Thanks Pooja for the cushion colors. These are all from Onset. That's a brand that we used to run earlier. And yeah, we did do a lot of really bright colors. So I see Manju has joined. Let's just wait for her to send us a request. Yes, she did. Manju's joining. She's such a happy person, and I think everyone who's watching her would feel happy just hearing her talk. Hi, Manju.
Hi Neha,
How are you?
I'm good. So good to be here with you.
I know it's so good for me to be here with you. I was just telling everyone that, you have this whole calmness, and I think one line which you told me, which is stuck by my head, well, many lines have, but one line which I can share publicly is keep life simple. And that, we just complicate our lives for no reason. And I think that's such a simple thing to follow, that if we can actually simplify everything and just keep it simple, we'll be in a much happier space on the whole.
I generally call it KISS principle. Keep it simple, silly.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, you say that. Yeah, silly also you add, yeah.
Yeah,
True,
life
true.
becomes so easy, na? Yeah, if we keep
Yeah,
everything simple,
yeah,
life
yeah,
gets easier.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think now, I think with the whole COVID, we've had a lot of time to introspect and to, think within ourselves, which probably in earlier regular busy lives, we probably didn't have that time. So I think now we realize that actually, and we've all simplified our lives, right? Be it the clothes we wear, the food we eat, the everything, even the parties we have to be simple, lesser people. I think we've just learned right now that we simplify our life, and I hope we stick to it when we get back to a new normal.
True. Actually, we all needed this pause. Of course, not in this way.
Right,
As it is, we all were so much into hustle lifestyle, hustling
right,
from one place to another, one activity to
right,
another. one
Right,
party to another,
right,
one meeting to another. Mind has multiple, files inside working on
right,
us.
right,
So
right.
as it is, many psychologists, they were researching on that. That is,
Huh.
this hustle style is good. Is it,
Hmm.
that every waking hour of yours should be always productively used? Is
Right.
we started thinking like that, and we have started, putting this into our mind so seriously that we should everything should be very productive whenever
Hmm.
you are waking, whenever you are doing anything. So we were into living a hustle lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
we weren't even
as it
aware
is,
of what we were doing. It was more like a robotic movement that was happening.
absolutely, and that's why we were, as it is, many people were suggesting pause as in meditate, pause as in have do your self-care routine things,
Right,
pause as
right,
in read, paint.
right,
So,
right.
but nature has this has been in a very crude way we
Yeah,
got this
yeah,
pause.
yeah. Probably God tried to be subtle with us. We didn't listen. So he said, you know what? Time for me to show my power. And guys, no, you have to listen. You have no option.
Right, right, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like, for people who don't know, Manju has been a big help for me. I mean, there were a few years in my life where I went through a lot of lows, and she is one reason why I'm still sitting here, smiling, laughing, not losing that charm which I had towards life. So, I feel this whole mental health and talking to a counselor and getting professional help. Like if you fall sick, you go to a doctor. You don't say, "Oh, I shouldn't go to a doctor." But I think this whole taboo about talking that, what, I do need mental help in something is a taboo which is breaking. And I'm so glad that the world has people like you who are so approachable, so practical, so everything, and they take you out of your journey in a as a happier person, forget as a bitter person. So,
Actually, when you are into problems, when you are drowning kind of, into the
right,
sea of your problems, you get a third person's perspective. And it's
right,
good to have somebody who is professionally trained. It always gets a better edge, you get a better edge, you get a better understanding of your
understanding.
problem.
Yeah, yeah,
Ultimately, you are going to take decision. Your counselor or anyone around you cannot tell you, cannot shove you, cannot push you that do this, do that. You just get another perspective and in a very structured manner,
yeah,
and which really helps you, and
yeah.
you actually empty out your feelings.
Right, right,
That's
right,
such a big release also.
right, right.
Yeah,
Like a proper roadmap in a way. It's not, it's
absolutely, a
also
proper way.
how to implement it. It's not just कि ये मत करो या ये करो, but ये करोगे तो ये
Yeah,
problem आएगा तो इसको ऐसे deal करना. Like it's a proper structure
it's
thing which makes it
it's
easier for
so
the person in
beautiful.
front.
It's so beautiful that the clients only, or the people or the friends who come to me, they have their own solutions in their mind, but it is hidden somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
And as very rightly said, they don't have the roadmap. They don't
yeah,
have that thing how to now go about this, how to
yeah,
do this, how to get myself to do that.
yeah,
How it's like a broken thing
yeah.
needs some kind of a support. You
Right,
need some
right,
support,
right, right.
and only then you can join that.
True, true. So if we come little so mental health, like we discussed, is a very, very vast topic, and every aspect of it is important. But today, since we are talking about unconditioning your mind,
Yeah.
and it came when I saw the movie The Sky is Pink, and I was wondering why is the movie's name The Sky is Pink. And after I saw the movie, it made sense because the whole scene where Priyanka Chopra's son tells her that, "Oh, mom, my teacher got angry at me because I painted the sky pink," and the teacher said it has to be blue, and she says, "You know what? Your sky can be the color you want." Which is true. And now we've had time to see the sky also. So we've seen such beautiful colors. But it's just that we were conditioned. Like I was a very by the book person. So I always drew my
Mm-hmm.
sky as blue. But now we are seeing so many different colors. So what's your
Mm.
take on like unconditioning your mind? Like, was keeping that fine balance between still maintaining social norms, family values, not doing anything to disrespect them, to show them down, yet learning to kind of be who you are and get that independence, that freedom without being looked down upon, without, yeah. So what's your,
Absolutely. But what you want to say, I'm getting it little bit. Yeah.
yeah,
The sky can be of any color. But yes, we are made to see that sky is blue
mm-hmm.
because social norms are something which are social rules or norms. They were built to keep the society or to guide the society to avoid chaos and to avoid, a lot of things, to give a direction, to
Right,
give a
right,
direction to people's behaviors. So
right.
social norms, of course, they are there and they need to be followed. But if the social norms are curbing your potential, if they are suffocating you being an authentic self of yourself, then of course sometimes the sky has to change the color. The sky has to be
Yeah,
of the color which you want to paint with. A
yeah,
very funny
yeah,
thing, in the childhood we tell our kids, to draw. Whenever we give the crayons and a drawing book, we tell them to draw within the lines.
yeah,
And
yeah,
when
yeah.
they grow up and
Hmm.
when they are into their careers or when they are into some decision making role, we tell them, think out of the box, think out of the
Wow.
box.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's a
just
very
imagine
valid point.
the childhood conditioning, just to make them, restricted in the lines, and
Uh,
output you want, think out of the box. So it's very important, to sometimes, to unlearn what we have learned, you know. And I'm not saying be a rebel, I'm not saying be a lawbreaker, but yes, be yourself, be your natural self, be your, so the way you can express yourself better. Most nowadays, the most cases of depression or the low moods is that because you're not living life to your true potential, you're not living life in your true authentic self, and that really kills you. For example, the parents, if they are actually, they are telling their kids, you take up science because they want them to
hmm.
do something in science, something, mechanical engineering or something, but
Right.
child may be a singer. So what will happen? You will have an adult who is dysfunctional because his heart is somewhere, his mind is somewhere, and that tuning is not possible. Some people achieve it, but some they are not able to achieve it. That's the major cause of concern in, the unhappiness amongst, growing young adults. And
So
then that's
it's
how
a
we are
pressure
creating
that
a.
society gives, probably.
Exactly. This is the pressure given by society. But what is society? Society is set of people. There were
Right.
some rules were written. That's
Uh,
why we are in this modern world. But
right.
then the rules can be always rewritten. Rules can be, sometimes you have to make them, little bit flexible also in your own context. So you
Hmm.
can take something from a rule and you can try to adapt it in a way which suits your personality, which suits your situation, which may be more applicable for your experience. Just
Right.
telling someone to follow something which has been followed since, years is not a right way, not a good way for a wholesome, growth. And that's why emotional IQs are becoming very high.
Hmm.
IQ is, what you learn, what you gather, all the information. That
Hmm.
also you synthesize it. You learn it,
Hmm.
you synthesize it, and when you have to apply it, that is
Hmm.
intelligent quotient. And what are
Right.
emotional? What is EQ? EQ is you go through the emotions, but no one has ever told you that these
Yeah.
emotions are normal, but how to deal with them. How to deal with them in the most effective manner where you can get the best, you accept the emotion, you synthesize it, and then you do go towards your action. That's your emotional quotient, and you will find that no one teaches you that.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
pick it
Yeah.
up by your
Yeah.
environment. You
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
get to do it yourself. There
Yeah.
has to be
Yeah.
someone who has to
Yeah.
guide you through this.
Yeah. In
So
fact,
some
funny that you
parents,
talk
yeah,
about EQ because the first
yeah.
time actually I heard the term EQ was from your husband. You were talking something and
Okay.
he was saying, you know what, I think with this person, when you discuss, you should have an higher EQ. With this person, have. I said, EQ hota kya, Naresh? And then he said, this is what it is. I said, oh, I didn't even know what the term was till like maybe 6, 7 years back. But yeah, it's
Honestly,
very,
many people are still unaware that what is emotional intelligence, because no
uh,
one asks you about your emotional intelligence or your
yeah.
EQ when you are being interviewed or when you are being, nowadays still, I would say still things are changing. During these 5 years, things have changed majorly.
Change. Yeah,
People
yeah.
are addressing it head on. Now they are
Right,
addressing it.
right, right. So, Manju, we have a question. Do you want to take it now from Vineet? He's asking, like you're talking about passion and work. So,
Yeah,
his question was, how do you sustain passion that you can't make money from, or do you
money
give up
from.
on them? or is it okay to keep passion and work separate?
It is the most beautiful way in case you can mix your work and passion together. Some people manage to do that. They create their passions into a business model, and sometimes that
Like
turns
me.
out to be a great idea, and sometimes exactly. I was just about to say that, like you. So some people they can be very good at it, but as Vineet is asking, there's no need to keep your passion aside. Passion is something if you just keep it aside, it will die inside you, leaving a lot of toxic. So then you can convert your passion into a kind of hobby. And the money part, of course, to sustain, we all need to make money.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
it's everybody has a very different requirement of money. So you need
yeah,
to have that much of money which you want to have. But of
yeah,
course, never let your passion die inside you. You'll be
yeah.
very, very sad, very, very sad and frustrated if the toxics
Unfulfilled
are
in a
there.
way, because the
Absolutely
part of you is
unfulfilled.
not complete. Then you feel that's an important part of who you are. It's
Rather
not just your
nowadays,
work.
rather now the whole belief system is changing into the whole idea is totally getting changed into it that what you like, first try to identify that, then try to create a business model around it. But at least identify it. Some people, they don't even know that this is my passion. Many
Hmm.
people, many people, they don't even know, they understand their passion much, much later in their life. But thank God,
It's
currently now
changing.
the parents are not so much the young parents. I would say they are aware about these things. They try to see, what their kids like, what do they want to do. That's why we have so many beautiful, good singers, so many good actors, so many good, I think, chefs.
Yeah,
Everybody is
yeah, yeah.
allowed to
YouTubers,
pursue their
everything.
passion.
So, like again, since
Yeah,
we were talking about conditioning, now you're talking about parents changing. So, do you think the conditioning of the parents are now changing, or do you think they are unconditioning their mind that they're letting the children do what they want? Like, how do you see this come down in generations, like the whole unconditioning thing, to let people really be
absolutely.
who they are? Like, you think that's changing, and how do you think that's changing? Why do you think that's changing? It's great, it is, but what do you think the reasons are?
The reasons are very dissatisfied people around, high rates of suicides, depression, so much, relationship conflicts, so much
Hmm.
dissatisfaction with the life. So many people, they have a lot of money, they are very happy in their careers, but deep inside they are totally unfulfilled. So these are the reasons which have created a lot of research work, a lot of awareness in the society. And whereas the young adults, young parents, they have
Hmm.
started accepting the fact that they have to unlearn their conditioning, that
Yeah.
from a business family there has to be a businessman, from a
Hmm.
teacher's family there has to be a teacher, from a
Right.
service industry there has to be a service person. So a
Yeah.
lot of parents could do that, but still a majority
Yeah.
who are
Yeah.
not so aware,
Yeah.
they are trying to figure it out how
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
unlearn that. And that
Yeah.
in our Indian context, family is not a nuclear setup.
Hmm.
Most
Hmm.
of the families are not nuclear setup. Even
Hmm.
if the first
Hmm.
generation is agreeing to let the
Hmm.
child
Hmm.
experiment
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
want, there is
The
one more senior,
Dadajis.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
dadajis
Yeah.
and all, they all are sitting.
Taujis
So
and all of that, like the next earlier
yeah,
elder
so
people.
the
Yeah.
whole, sometimes you realize that the whole family is taking a decision for someone, and the child who is a young adult, who is hardly a child now, is not even
Yeah.
allowed to think for themselves.
Yeah.
Not letting them think for themselves is actually crippling them. It's
True.
actually totally snatching that beautiful right of a human being to make a choice. That power
True.
of choice is the best gift a human can have.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
choose what
Yeah.
you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you need to first of all understand that I have a power of choice.
Right.
Some dysfunctional scenarios, I see people, they don't think for themselves. They're not
Hmm.
allowed to
They're not
think for
allowed to.
themselves.
And
Why?
again, when
Because of,
sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
because of social norms.
Yeah.
Because what people will say, log kya kahenge,
Uh,
log kya kahenge, this is
hmm.
still very much prevalent.
Yeah.
Whatever said and done, this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
much
Yeah. Yeah.
strong in
Yeah.
people's
Yeah.
mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And now again,
Mm-hmm.
talking about unconditioning. So, okay,
Mm-hmm.
there, like you mentioned this word rebel earlier in the beginning of the talk. But my point
Mm-hmm.
is, like, suppose today I want to do something because I want to say that the sky is pink. As a matter of
Mm-hmm.
rebel, or really I truly believe it, you know.
Okay.
So how would you like, for everyone who's watching, what's a good, like I'm sure everyone, like you said beginning, everyone has answers to all the questions when they come to you. So they
Hmm.
probably have the answer to this also in their own self, whether it's a rebel or whether it's a genuine wish that they have, and or are they being brave to put aside a certain thing and follow their dream. So what's a feeling, or how does someone judge whether it's a rebellious behavior or if it's a brave behavior?
The person who is actually taking the risk of breaking any social norm is, of course, will be always very fearful, very fearful. And when you are very fearful, of course, there will be a confusion whether this is just, a rebel act, whether this is something which is stupid, or whether this is actually good for me. So there will
Hmm.
be three ways, you will be thinking. Someone who is actually thinking, and the way the conditioning is there, your mind is
Hmm.
saying, "Ki, of course, uh, if I'm going against the social norms, you are fearful, you are confused. So first of all, you have to either your own wisdom, you have to rely on your own wisdom. B, if someone else is around to give you that wisdom, you can take an advice from that. C, the professional help. There are three ways you can tackle it, because it's a very, very natural thing which you have asked me. When you
Hmm.
do something, when you are going to take a decision, it's very difficult. There's mind, there's
Yeah.
heart. Mind is
Yeah.
saying, how can I do this? This
Yeah.
person will be hurt, this will be hurt.
Yeah.
Heart
Yeah.
says, no, I have to do that. So
Yeah.
there's one thing between mind and heart sits our gut. There's one gut feeling. There's some
Right.
instinct, we
Right.
we don't believe it, but it is actually scientifically proved also that sometimes your instincts really guide you in a very, very correct manner. So trust your gut feeling, and then take some, good advice, solid advice, and top it with the professional advice. And
Okay.
then you will gain the confidence. And once you take a decision by your confidence,
Hmm.
and you are 90% with the decision, believe
Hmm.
me, you will make that decision work. Because you have
Right.
taken it, you are owning it up, and you are quite sorted out, you are not fearful, so you will
Hmm.
give good energy to your decision.
Right.
Sometimes we take a
Versus fearful
decision.
energy.
Exactly, because fearful energy always, after taking the decision, also all the
Hmm.
time you are in fear. So if you are
Hmm.
living in a fear after making a decision, you are not
Hmm.
going to make it work.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. Hmm.
you
Hmm.
have to remove that
True.
fear. And that fear can be removed by a good combination, a good balance of all the things which I've told you. Your gut
True.
feeling, your actual, right wisdom thinking, ki, yes, I'm doing it. Is it okay or is it not okay? See somebody's advice, somebody with whom you have regards, some mentor or somebody. Fourth can be somebody professionally trained,
Counselor.
and then you will get a good, good peace of mind.
So, Manju, tell
Then
me
you will be
something.
able
If
to.
someone is making a decision which is against believing that the sky is blue, for
Hmm.
example, do you think they should do a self-analysis that, what, if I'm making this decision, these are the things which I will have to deal with, and kind of at least have a mental roadmap ahead that, A, is it worth dealing with all that? And
Right.
if it is worth, what's the best way to deal with it? Like, or you do you think that people should just take a decision if the gut says that, what, do it, they should just do it, and then say, what, ab jo hoga, I'll deal with it. What's the better way to work? Like, be planned about it, or just take the leap and have faith in yourself, have faith in God, and just believe everything will work out for the best.
So many people, they believe in leap of faith, right?
Right? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would equate it to a bungee jumping. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bungee jumping gives you excitement. Bungee jumping gives you a lot of adventure, a lot of adrenaline rush. You want to
Right.
do it. You are
Right.
fearful, right? Of course, there are no social norms here. But yes, maybe you have parental pressure. Don't do that. Why you are doing that? Why you are taking unnecessary risks? But do you take the jumping without even knowing about it little bit? That awareness, what comes with it, what does not come with it, has to be done, but not over analysis. Over analysis is paralysis again. If you
Hmm.
over analyze anything, because
Hmm.
if you do a very, very, because you are, see, when we talk about emotion, and it's not a business plan. When we are talking about emotions, it's about relationships, it's about people. It's not a business plan. When you make a
Hmm.
business plan, of course, you do your total due diligence. But
Hmm.
when it is about people, when it is about relationship, you just, Sometimes you just see out of 10 points, maybe you see four, five,
Mm,
five and a
mm,
half. It's okay. You cannot, the rest five will be always changing because human behavior is constantly changing.
changing.
What
Yeah,
you are me, what you are seeing me today, maybe after a year you will not see me like that.
yeah,
What you are seeing me from a distance will not be when you will come closer to me. What
yeah,
you are seeing with me, if you are living with me for one day, it will
yeah,
not be similar when you will
yeah,
be living with me for
yeah,
30
yeah,
days.
yeah, yeah.
When you are, but I am with you for 30 days will not be like that because
True,
when you will
true,
be living with me forever.
true, true,
So
true.
it's about human behavior change, and you why does human behavior change? Because there are many things around us, our own
Hmm.
circumstances, our own journey. So each person is into their own journey. So maybe when you make a decision, the person was onto a different journey. Now the
Hmm.
person has gone into a different journey.
Hmm.
So most of the times it's a big conflict, nowadays in people's relationships and in their mind, how everything can be preset. You cannot preset everything in your
Hmm.
life. You can
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
think for maybe that these five things are okay. These five things are going to be changing, here and
Right,
there.
right, right,
But
right.
how I condition myself, that's on me.
So let me quiz
So this
you.
is how you
You
navigate.
you've you've
Yeah.
known me for 15 years. How have I changed? And you've known me
Uh,
very closely for 15 years. So just give out details
yeah,
which we
you
can on a public platform.
emotionally really empowered and really have learned from your experiences. You have not gone down with your experiences, you have gone up with your experiences, which is a great learning, I think, for me
Thank
also.
you.
Some
Thank you.
people they wear the badge of victimhood, and some people they wear the badge of winner. So I would give you a badge of winner, learning
Yay.
from your
Thank you.
experiences,
Thank you.
emotionally stable, trying to you are work in progress, trying to
Thank
still
you.
working,
Thank
on your
you.
emotions and on your
Yeah,
thoughts.
yeah.
That
So in
really
fact,
makes me happy.
that's my next question actually to you.
Yeah.
That what tips do you have for people? Because see, everyone goes through things in their life. Everyone takes decision which is not within the box, like we said, which is not within a social
Mm-hmm.
norm, which is outside. And when they
Mm-hmm.
take those decisions, then they do have to deal with some resilience from people, some maybe not such friendly vibes from people. You may lose out on some of your close people. Society
Mm-hmm.
may disown you in a small, big way, whatever.
Hmm.
Whatever you go through, even your internal issues. What are some
Hmm.
of the ways in which people can deal with it and come out of it and still be a happy human being on the other side? Because if you go through that process and you come out, like you said, a victim or bitter or saying, the world is like this and blah, 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 then the journey hasn't taught you what it had to. It skilled you in a
Absolutely.
way.
Yes.
But the beauty of life is to come out of that journey and be a nicer person, learn much more than what you were at the beginning of the journey. So, what are some tips? How do you feel people can deal with that? Like some maybe two or three little things which you feel people, if they keep those in mind, it'll help them go through their journey in a happier manner.
I always feel very strongly feel that one word which actually has killed relationships, is judgment, somebody is judging you, you are judging someone. It's kind of, it becomes a vicious circle.
Hmm.
So in your journey, when you feel that the people who are always with you on in your life's journey,
Hmm. Hmm.
and for some reason, if they are not with you
Hmm.
now, it can be either they have something which is not about you, which is about
Very, very
themselves.
true. Yeah.
Why give them a little bit iota of doubt? It's
Yeah.
not about
Yeah.
me. Problem
Yeah.
is that we always take this, everything about other is about me. If
Yeah.
someone is angry, it's about me. If someone is
Yeah.
frustrated, it is
True.
about me.
True.
If someone is upset, it is about me.
We
If
give
someone
ourselves too
is
much of importance.
I know exactly. Maybe it's always, and with some people it works in a very different way. For them, if
Yeah.
everything what I am is about other only. If I am
Yeah.
upset, you made me upset. If I am angry, you made me angry. If I am irritated, Mr. X made me irritated. So
Yeah.
it works. Everyone they filter out their emotions themselves. So
Right.
the people who are not there in your journey, don't judge them. They have their own reasons, their own story of the life. Most of the time we judge people by just knowing the 1% of their life. There is
Hmm. Hmm.
99%
Hmm.
in their life which we are not
Yeah, we don't
aware,
know.
and which some people they may not want to share. So give them kind of compassion, leave them with that compassion. And if you really miss them, keep them, knocking, keep them
Hmm.
knocking. Don't give them negative energy. Don't give them negative vibes. If they are destined, they will be back on their journey with you. Otherwise, enjoy your journey because
Yeah.
you have set the route for your journey. So
True.
this is
True.
the best way to deal with it, because
True.
judging people's behavior is something, I always feel it's pointless. It's pointless because what someone is doing in what circumstances, how can I
Yeah.
know that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and we write a story in our head, we write a
Yeah.
whole script in our head.
I'm one of those. Full. I can produce a book
we
about every thought.
assumptions kills the relationship.
Yeah.
They are the
Yeah.
biggest relationship killers. We
Yeah.
assume a lot of things. If
Yeah.
someone is upset, we feel I am the reason of
Yeah.
him or
Yeah.
her being
Yeah.
upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
True.
maybe the being upset is some XYZ reason.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
always give another person little bit of leverage of doubt, little bit of freedom of mind, little bit of space. Spaces are very much required in relationships, whether it's your primary relationship is with your parents, with your sibling, with your spouse. Secondary relationships are with your colleagues, with your cousins, with
Hmm.
your people who are working with you, people your extended family. They are into secondary relationship. So primary relationship also, you need to give them a space, not too much of space, but little space. And secondary one, a lot of space. And the outside circle is anyone who
Don't
comes
even
into
like,
your
yeah,
universe.
yeah, yeah.
You are not even
You
bothered
can't even
about
get
that.
into their lives. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So
True.
when you give people little bit of sense of freedom,
Yeah.
believe me, they get more. You must have heard that quote. When you cling to something,
Hmm.
it becomes very suffocating for the person with whom you are
Yeah.
clinging to.
Like they say, if you
So
hold a handful of sand, the tighter you hold it, the
yeah,
more it falls out.
the
And if
more
you just hold it
absolutely
lightly like this,
true.
it'll stay on your hand. So they say the same thing with
Just
relationship
imagine
also.
such a beautiful thing about relationship. It's just one example which you have given has defined everything. Don't strangle people with your own, let people
Yeah.
be what they are.
Yeah.
That is unlearning the conditioning,
Yeah.
that is what has been done to all of, most of us, I would say.
Hmm.
Some from somebody, the parents were the reason. For somebody, the teachers must have been the person, somebody, some sibling. So sometimes, it happens with a person that he has been really stifled and really suffocated by a lot of pressure. Then you become a different kind of a person. Then you are
Hmm.
conditioned that this is the way to navigate this relationship. This is
Correct.
the way to deal with a spouse. This is the way to deal with a parent. This is the way to deal with the children. This is the way to deal with a colleague. So, but there is no set way. Honestly,
Right.
tell me there is no set way.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the relationships, the onus goes on to you. How do you handle
Hmm.
knowing the personality of the person, knowing you,
Yeah.
what you are, knowing
Yeah.
the other person.
Yeah. And
So,
with someone
yeah.
can see the same thing in two different ways. Like if you look at,
Yes.
like, let's keep going back to the sky. You look at the sky. Some people see the blue streaks in it. Some people see the orange streaks in it. So both are seeing the same thing, but they're looking at
Yeah.
it from their point of view, their perspective, their experience, their liking. Maybe someone likes blue more, so they'll see the blue part more, and someone likes orange more, they'll see the orange part more. But neither of them are wrong. It's just a
So
different perspective.
how subtly nature gives us this
Yeah, yeah,
beautiful
yeah,
example. How
yeah, yeah,
subtle. Still we admire it.
yeah,
If
yeah,
someone's orange, also we try to see that orange streak. If
yeah,
someone says
yeah.
that's pink, we see
Pink.
that pink
We try
streak.
to see the pink
Someone
streak.
says
Yeah,
it's a little violet stream, we see that. But
yeah.
when it comes to something in life, many
We
people
don't.
they say no.
Yeah.
Either my way or highway. It
Highway. Yeah,
happens, with many.
yeah,
Either you do what I say, otherwise you just be out of,
yeah,
my
yeah.
way.
Yeah, so
So,
I like
but
you spoke. It's about giving people the freedom to be who they are, and also the freedom
yes,
and probably the openness or the open heart for them to be who they are with you. Because
yes.
with some people you feel, oh, I can't be myself. उसके सामने I will talk like this क्योंकि वो उसको ऐसे बोलेंगे तो उसको अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, फिर एक बड़ा पतंगा हो जाएगा. So I think it's also about, making yourself acceptable to people so that they can be open in front of you.
See, I always, again, again, one thing which always fascinates me, if in relationships, since day one you are what you are, it's much, much more appreciated. Because initially, to be in the relationship, we
Hmm.
try to
Hmm.
be what the other person wants us to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And gradually we forget that what we are. And then after a point, we want to become what we were
Originally are, yeah, from heart
originally
what
are.
we
And then
yeah,
erupts a volcano. Then there's a
yeah,
volcanic change.
yeah,
So it's very difficult. But yes, you have to be what you are since day one. But again, as you were talking about conditioning, the childhood conditioning, the conditioning in our
yeah,
mind,
yeah, yeah,
no, a daughter has to be like this, a daughter-in-law has to be like that, a son has to be like that, a wife has to be like this, a husband has to be like this. So many societal definitions
yeah,
sitting in
yeah,
your
yeah,
mind.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you start, thinking that, I have to behave in this particular manner. Otherwise,
right,
I'll not be accepted. You
right,
know, that I need to be accepted will make me do anything, and that make me do anything will change me. So for few days I'll be happy,
true,
for few years
true,
maybe I'm happy, but later on I'll not like it.
yeah, yeah,
So that is the biggest unconditioning. That is the
true,
biggest unconditioning which is not still happening in the society, which is still people are, telling people this is the way it should be. This is the way it
hmm,
should be.
hmm, hmm,
This
hmm,
should be word, the land of should be is very dangerous.
yeah,
The
yeah,
land of shoulds is
yeah,
kind of very, very dangerous
yeah,
territory. I
yeah,
feel there's nothing like, nothing is like it should be like this.
yeah,
It
yeah,
You cannot define, you cannot define. There can be certain set of rules.
yeah,
Take your cue, navigate around it and do what you want to do.
yeah,
I
just be
always
happy.
feel.
I think that's the
Just
main
be
thing,
happy.
happy, yeah, because really in
And
life,
happiness, yeah,
sorry,
happiness is not other people's creation.
yeah,
Happiness is just,
absolutely, you,
it is with me.
oh,
There was the God, when God created human,
mm,
so everybody said that there is a secret of life. So said,
mm,
where you have kept that secret? So God did not say that, yeah, the key is there, the key, there is a key for secret of life. Now, where is that key? Everybody tried to find out, everybody tried to find out everywhere, but that secret to the secret of life key was not to be found. Ultimately, they went to God and said, where is that secret of life? Where is that? So that key
mm,
is in the heart. I have locked it into your heart.
yeah,
You have
yeah,
never
yeah,
gone into your heart. Go into your
yeah,
heart and
yeah,
you'll find the secret of
yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah,
So similarly, you need to, I feel, in two, three things: compassion, empathy. Empathy is, understanding what the other person is feeling, being in other person's shoes. That is
mm,
the first thing. The first
mm,
kind of expression of love is if you can give another human empathize, empathize, empathize. Not sympathy. Empathize.
mm,
Empathize means,
mm,
yes, I know I'm in your situation. I can understand what you
mm,
must be going through. But
mm,
nobody wants to do that. Everybody
mm,
wants to be understood, but nobody wants to understand. In a world like this, everybody is beggar. Everybody is looking for
mm,
attention.
mm,
Wants to, everybody wants to say something, but there is nobody to listen. That's why everybody is a
true,
kind of, very feeling very empty, because everybody has something, but there is nobody to take it, because
true,
everybody is in their own rush, rush, rush.
yeah,
Be someone's comfort. Try to understand the person's point of view. Express your point of view clearly.
mm,
Expression is also a problem. Most of the
mm,
time, we are in, haste, we are in
mm,
hurry, we are in haste, and we express ourselves in a very crude manner, in a manner which is actually very, what we want to say, we are telling it in a very different way. So,
right,
communication skills, what you are saying, what words you are using, how you are saying, you have to think about it. That's why I always believe in reaction versus response. Don't
mm,
react,
yeah,
respond
yeah,
intelligently.
yeah, yeah, that's
Most of
another
us are
thing she
into
always told
reactive
me,
mode, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
We are into reactive mode because again the I think outcome of a very, very hustle life,
mm,
a very,
mm,
very fast life, very, very, like, where
mm,
no one has the
mm,
time. Even if a
mm,
child is coming, the mother is listening selectively,
Hmm.
not the active listening. I'm
Hmm.
selectively listening
Hmm.
that this is the homework or this is what teacher has said. Fine. I've
Hmm.
taken that necessary information.
Hmm.
I'll give you the output.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the active listening, total listening is listen the whole thing.
Hmm.
Listen between the lines. Give
Yeah.
time. Time is the best thing you can give to anyone.
Yeah.
Honestly, time
Yeah.
is the best
Yeah.
thing which you can give
Yeah.
to
Actually,
anyone.
that's something I tell my mom all the time. I said, you know what, you gave me your time, like till like even now. I said that's
Yes,
something, irreplaceable because you can get more money, whatever. But if a person has given his or her time to you, that's something which even God can't give it back. So that's
totally.
invaluable in another level, at another level, giving time.
Time and attention, very attentive listening,
Yeah.
and which is not happening. Many parents, they have problems with their kids, and when they come out, and that is the thing, because they don't have the time to, actually engage into a very in a conversation where there is so many things are saying between the lines. You
Yeah.
can actually read your child's mind, if you really talk to them, if you really listen to them, if you
Yeah.
really spend time with them.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
with the adults also.
Yeah.
If your spouse is there, or if your sister, sibling, actually listen properly. You know what the other person is wanting to tell you. Try to
Hmm.
understand.
Hmm.
But we have so many filters also. That's
Hmm.
again, I said emotional, as you rightly said in the beginning, emotional wellness is a vast subject.
Yeah.
We all have
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
as you were talking about sky is pink, sky is blue, but sky is pink, sky can
Pink.
be any color.
Any color. Yeah.
Why? Because filter in our minds.
Yeah.
Those are the,
Yeah.
if you wear a glass
Yeah.
and if you keep on putting different filters, you will
Colors.
see what is
Yeah.
your filter
Yeah.
showing you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So people here with their filters on, with
True.
their conditioning on. If
True.
child says, I want to go out for a party night, for a night out, a
Hmm.
young child, maybe 11, 12.
Hmm.
So intent listening and then expressing in a very intelligent manner,
Hmm.
that will solve the problem. That will give you some headway in sorting out the issue. But
Hmm.
reacting will never sort it out. Again, the
Hmm.
filter that I was never allowed, no one is allowing. Generally, the
Hmm.
filters I was not allowed, no one
Hmm.
allows. It's so
Hmm.
unsafe. How can I
Hmm.
do?
Hmm.
These filters are coming.
All
I'm not even listening
automatically.
to the child. I'm
Yeah.
not even let the child express.
Yeah.
So again, you need to really figure it out. It's a major subject, How do you communicate? How
Yeah.
do you
Yeah. Yeah.
listen?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
do you express your
Yeah.
concerns? You
Yeah.
have to build a bond.
Yeah.
But when you are an entrepreneur, when you have to negotiate how much work you have to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
every human transaction is about negotiation.
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
negotiate?
Yeah. Yeah.
So negotiation means active listening.
Yeah, and even like Sangeeta auntie has written that I think it depends on your mood. So I feel again, even if it's in a bad mood, but you have your child in front, you have to learn to control your mood that time and speak to the
Yes.
child in a responsive manner, not in a
in-
reactive manner.
you have to respond to the child. You may
Yeah,
say that time ki, yeah, I think let me finish this, then I can
come
do
back to
this.
you. Yeah.
When we talk about this in theory, it looks very easy, but when we
Mm,
do it, as I said again, the hustle, read about hustle articles. How how life is from 9 to 9:20, 9:30 this, 9:30 to 5 minutes break,
mm,
9:40 to 10:20 this, and with
mm,
this multitasking,
mm,
things so much happening that when I come home also I'm so tired. A
mm,
tired mind will
mm.
never be a listener's mind.
True.
So this is, we need to learn,
Yeah.
uh, we can't blame people. The way the competition is there, the way everything is around, the way the technology is become a big intervention in our lives, the way we can be at home, still we are at work.
Right.
So they have pros and cons. So I'm working, but for example, I'm working, right? But my child wants to talk to me. Now my working hours are 10 to 1, 11, I had a meeting. Now 11:05 I am going out, and he has something major. A 13-year-old, something major has happened with him. A
Yeah.
major tough with a girlfriend or something. Now if
Mm.
the child is telling me I'll not be in that
Zone
mode,
two. Right.
yeah, so you have to zone it out. You as a human, you need to learn these skills. First of all, calm, you don't have to say something, you have to be calm. Then you have
Mm.
to express yourself ki, yeah, tell me briefly, later on we'll discuss about this. at
Hmm.
length.
Hmm. Hmm.
That will be such a soothing thing, you know. We'll say,
Hmm.
jaldi bolo, abhi main
Hmm.
wapas, you know,
Hmm.
11:15
Hmm.
pe I have to
Hmm.
sit again.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
always have some issue, you always have
Hmm.
something, you know.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
at the time when I have some work only that, all this is reactive.
Right.
Intelligent response is something different. We all humans have to learn that.
True.
When we talk in theory, it's very easy, but when you do it, it becomes little difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because you don't know your mood, your circumstances, how your day is being. There's so many things which might play up in your reaction at a specific point.
Because as a humans, we are in a machinery, na? We have seen
Hmm.
that concrete maker,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
concrete
Hmm.
maker,
Hmm.
when we
Hmm.
make
Hmm. Hmm.
building that
Yeah. Yeah.
machine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you are, the whole day you are into churning, you are churning into, getting churned into that machine.
Right.
So revisit your lifestyles. Revisit your,
Right.
we are living, not living life, but we are living lifestyles. We are giving more importance to lifestyles than to life.
Right.
So we
Wow. Well
need to
said.
revisit this thought, and each to their own, each to their
Yeah.
own.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, you
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
revisit it. You have to think. You have to realize what is your priorities, what you want, what you like. You know, just to fit in.
Hmm.
Existence is not just to fit in. Existence is to be authentic, be yourself. Maybe you don't like to meet people. Fine, you know, tone it down. Don't do
Hmm.
that. Some
Hmm.
people are extroverts, some people are less expressive. They want to spend time with themselves.
Hmm.
Fine, it's okay.
Hmm.
So everybody needs to, we are getting into a copy paste mode, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, he is doing this, she is doing
I
that,
should also do it.
so we should do that. This is the way it has to be done. This is the way it has to be done. No, there's no performer. Everybody
Hmm.
can write their own stories. Everybody can tell them their own stories. And one
Hmm.
interesting thing, whatever story you tell yourself, you become that. If you
Yeah.
tell
True.
yourself,
True.
yes, you know, I can do it. Of course, I can handle it. Of course,
True.
it can be done. Simple
Yeah.
example, you know, if some people are telling themselves, you know, I'm stuck at home. Some people, when you talk to them, they say, I'm
Yeah.
stuck at
Yeah.
home,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
stuck at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas some people rephrase it and they say, like, you know, I'm feeling safe in my house.
Yeah.
Just see one rephrasing and one story which you are putting yourself
In
is
your
doing
head.
so much.
Yeah. Yeah. And your mood probably just changes. Seeing that and
Yeah,
seeing this. You're
but we are
you're
not
thinking.
aware. We are not
Yeah.
aware of our that emotional health is important. Still,
Right.
long way
Right.
to go.
Right.
We
Right.
are still aware spiritually. Many people are
Hmm.
following a lot of gurus. They are doing a lot of meditations, a lot of things. So spiritual health, we are actually working at. We are working at our physical health. Everybody is in some kind of exercises, good
Hmm.
eating
Hmm. Hmm.
habits.
Hmm.
So, but that one tangent, major missing is emotional health,
Emotional.
and you cannot work without one limb. It's whole body.
Hmm.
So you cannot
Hmm.
say this
Hmm.
limb is not working, so
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm not
Hmm.
if you remember, we make that chart na, there are four tangents in our
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you are not working for your emotional fitness and you are just working on your physical fitness,
Yeah.
uh,
It's not gonna work.
or spiritual fitness, is
Yeah.
not going to work.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
work everywhere in all tangents,
True. True. True.
and that's a way to uncondition your beliefs also, you know. There are
Hmm.
certain set beliefs in our mind,
Hmm.
and we function through our beliefs. So
Hmm.
we have to unlearn our beliefs also. Some of the beliefs, yeah, beliefs are related to our value system, but some of the belief you have to have very flexible when it comes to your beliefs. Something which is your strong belief may be not very helpful in your current situation. So you need
Hmm.
to revisit that belief, you need to rework that belief, you need to get a solution out of that. How can I rework that belief?
Hmm.
This is
Hmm.
called unconditioning.
Hmm.
Unconditioning your belief system,
Belief system.
unconditioning your behavior, you know, which you have learned over the year,
Right.
unconditioning your mind from the people have labeled you, a lot of labels people have given
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
have to just, you know,
Yeah.
again, one very interesting thing which I tell people, which I share, I love it, you know, please, labels are for jars, they are not for people. Don't label
Yeah.
people mercilessly.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
work, you know, according to their situations, their
Yeah.
experiences,
Yeah.
their mood, you know. Sometimes it's very hot and your mood is upset. You are angry. That means you're not an angry person.
Yeah.
You're not an angry person.
Yeah.
So what I'm currently doing is positive psychology. Positive psychology is that only.
Yeah.
Try to work on your strengths,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
generally we all have seen our flaws from the childhood.
Hmm.
थोड़ी पतली होती, थोड़ी लंबी होती, थोड़ा
थोड़ी
और
गोरी
अच्छे से
होती.
लिखो, थोड़ी गोरी होती, you could have written better. Your maths is little weak, but your Hindi is really good. Your English is literature is not that good. Something so this
Yeah.
has been always there.
Yeah.
Positive psychology is about, understanding your positive traits, the traits which are very, very strong in you, realizing your assets. And exactly the way you put the makeup, if you have beautiful eyes, of course you're going to highlight them, na?
Highlight by.
If
Yeah.
you have
Yeah. Good
if you have
point.
got a
Yeah.
slim waist, you're going to highlight that. Similarly, whatever is absolutely natural and flawless and beautiful in you, be aware about that,
Yeah.
just work on that, and imagine whatever you don't have will be hardly, it will not
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
called
Because you're not even,
authenticity.
and you're not even focusing
Yeah.
on it. So you're focusing on
Yes,
what your strengths are, and then God will give you more, or the universe will give you more of that because that's where your energy is going.
exactly, and you are working on it, so you yourself are giving more energy to
Yeah.
that particular positive aspect. And
Yeah.
when the light is very bright, the darkness, of course, will not be there. Whatever two, three negatives or five negatives you have, they will just, they will
They won't
just blend
matter.
in very beautiful.
Yeah.
The way we
You.
blend in with the blush, the
Yeah.
blood,
Yeah. Yeah.
we do how we beautifully,
Makeup and all
if
that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
physically,
Yeah.
if physically we can do that, why can't we do it mentally? Why?
Hmm.
Just because we are all the time aware of our flaws. Because we, as children, as sometimes parents, sometimes grandparents, sometimes teachers,
Yeah.
sometimes siblings, they try to, point out on your flaws
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
you can be a better person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correcting flaws means of being a better person, but I don't agree on to
Yeah,
that
yeah,
theory.
yeah. True, true. Yeah, like Sangeeta auntie saying that when she was 10 years old, her aunt told her, तुम्हारा nose इतना मोटा है, तुमसे शादी कौन करेगा? Yeah, so I always
Yes,
thought while growing up that I had, and no one told me this. I don't know how I got in my thing that my teeth are too big. So I would smile like that.
just
And then,
imagine.
and then many people said, you know what, your smile is infectious. When we see you smile, we feel like smiling. So it took me conditioning, right? It took me
Yeah,
conditioning of
unconditioning.
many
Yeah,
people saying that I today I can smile
yeah,
without, I would always smile like that because I was told. I don't know who told me, not my parents or my immediate family. It was just probably random social people. Say, दांत इतना बड़ा
yeah,
है. So I wouldn't smile
yeah.
without covering my teeth. So again, it's how people keep saying something to you from a certain age.
Yes,
You just start
yes.
focusing on that and you start believing that versus questioning it otherwise then.
Yes, because we believe into that ना कि the theory is that कि जो खराब है उसको better करो.
Hmm.
We all have lived into that
Hmm.
theory ना कि जो
Hmm.
flaws है उनको ठीक करो.
Hmm.
It's but flaws ठीक होगा नहीं होगा that's a later thing. But whatever good you have, at least throw
Focus on that
focus on
more.
that.
True,
Put the
true.
focus
Yeah,
light on the
yeah,
because people
yeah,
are
yeah.
believe me people are full with lot of beautiful things inside
Oh,
them,
yeah, yeah.
and people
Everyone.
have and people have actually covered them only trying to working on their flaws.
Yeah,
And if the flaws are there, they will you can just become little better on that. But why not to work on your positive aspects,
positive. True,
so
true.
we have an assessment test also. I do a lot of assessment tests with my clients where you can
Okay.
do a analysis and you can tell them this is your personality makeup,
Wow.
and that's
That's so
called a
exciting.
positive psychology, yeah, psychometric test, and it's amazing. It's exactly tell you your character strengths,
Wow,
your
wow,
empathy
wow.
quotient, your kindness,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
it's a very detailed thing, and it's very nice. Very you can just do it online. It can be
Huh.
done just online. It takes just a while, and
Mm,
at least
mm.
you know what
Yeah,
you are,
yeah,
and when you know what you are, you know how to work on that. That gives you
yeah.
an advantage,
Right, right,
to how
right,
to
right.
work on all
Yeah,
these aspects.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow, Manju, thank you so much. It was so great. And
Same here. Even I'm with you. It's always like a conversation flows, just
I
flows.
know we don't
We
even
can
realize
keep
when
on.
time goes.
Right, right. It's been always like that, and it's lovely, being with you and talking to you. And anyone wants anything, any questions, you can
Yeah,
just
if
later
anyone
on
has,
also.
yeah, you can DM
Yeah,
Manju, you
exactly.
can go to her page right now and follow her and DM her. You want to DM me and I can pass on the message to her and get back to you, whatever way. But I think it's a great thing. I mean, Manju, I have come to you. I mean, I think I've come to you for 3, 4, 5 years consecutively because I felt
Mm-hmm.
that I was going through certain things in my life where I felt I needed to, talk to a professional. Okay, you were a friend,
Mm-hmm.
that's a separate thing, but I
Yeah,
came to you as a
yeah.
professional, and I feel like that was such a big reason for me to pass through that phase and for even being able to know what else I need to do to pass the phase. So I feel it's not shameful. It's okay. Everyone goes through shit. Sorry for using that word, but everyone goes through their deal of
Right.
not such good phases.
Yes.
So,
Challenges,
talk
yeah,
to,
everybody
right.
has their own share of challenges
Right,
too.
exactly. So, I think it's good to talk to someone. And I think from my personal experience, I feel counselors are good because they are not family in a way. In a way, I mean, of course, it could be a friend, but they're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
family and they know scientific teachings behind what you're going to be talking. And they can, as we discussed in the beginning, give you a roadmap because you will
Yes.
have bumps on the road. And if those bumps kill your personality and kill your spirit, then there's no fun in going in that journey. Then the learning has become a failure. The beauty is to come out of that whole thing and be nicer than what you were when you got into it. So I,
Exactly. That's the best thing, be nicer than what you were into that.
yeah, yeah,
That's called a refined version of
yeah,
yourself,
like more
all the,
evolved, more everything, more
yeah,
empathetic, more giving,
yeah.
more passionate, all of that. So I
But
think,
people have a stigma, with the counseling and with mental health, emotional wellness. They have a
hmm,
stigma still, the society has. But be fearless. You just need a hand to hold you. You are
yeah,
going to go, you cross the river by yourself. There
yeah,
will be just a little support and which actually helps, which
helps, yeah,
actually helps
absolutely,
save so many lives,
yeah,
so
yeah.
and give a better, happier life.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I want to
absolutely. I
say.
mean, I'm like saying from my personal experience, like if I didn't have professional help, I mean, Manju, honestly, you're one reason why I am still who I am. I know I would have not, I would have probably broken down somewhere in the middle. Because again, like, I've been blessed with the best family, the best friends, and they were like an anchor for me. But again, having a professional help is something which is also an outsider in a way, but someone who knows the subject. It's like going to a doctor to help you with plants. They can't.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
have to go
true.
to a person who knows gardening to actually help you with the nitty-gritties of it. So yeah, I mean, I think from my personal experience, I feel it's something which no one should be ashamed of because everyone is dealing with their own thing. And if required,
And
go
when
to a
you
counselor.
deal with your challenges, you lose the perspective also. It's right
Yeah,
there in front of you. And
yeah,
after a
you
few
don't see
sessions,
it.
I've realized that people start getting back to, they say, my God, it was so clear, it was there. But of
Yeah,
course, when you are drowning, when you are sad, these feelings are so heavy now, they pull you
yeah,
down. And then
yeah,
you lose perspective. You
yeah,
just don't see whatever is around you.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's a sad state, but yes, then everyone comes out of it.
yeah. And
Everyone
that's why we
gets
have people
it.
like you in the world to help people come out of it.
And people who has the courage to go and seek an appointment with a counselor, it takes a lot of courage. It
Yeah,
takes a lot
yeah,
of effort.
yeah,
It takes
yeah,
a lot of effort to go there again and again and understand things, write down things, because again, I make people do a lot of work. My
yeah.
problem is that if you don't do work, then you don't have to, you know,
You're a strict
revisit
teacher.
me. I am a strict teacher. I want people to do something, certain things, and come back
Right,
to me.
right,
Otherwise,
right,
you will just love, talking to counselor and not
right,
coming out of it.
right,
Uh,
right, right. Great, Manju. Thank you so
uh,
much.
it was lovely. It was really lovely. A good heart-to-heart talk with you.
Yes,
I enjoyed
absolutely.
thoroughly. Hope
Thank you.
people
Thank you
have
so much for
benefited with
coming
it.
on.
Yeah.
I'm sure they
Thank
have.
you.
And if anyone has any questions, please DM her or me. And like we spoke, it's a very important thing. How do we uncondition our mind to years and years of conditioning which we've had from society and just things we've seen around? So I think let's break the thing and come up as a new you post-COVID.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Neha.
Thanks, Manju.
Okay.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.
Take
Yeah.
care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye,
Yeah.
everyone, and
Take
thank you
care.
for joining. Bye.